Tisztelt közönség, kedves vendégeink! Nagy szeretettel köszöntöm Önöket Magyarországon. Mi magyarok büszkék vagyunk arra, hogy Szent István királyunk 1000 évvel ezelőtt szilárd alapokra helyezte a magyar államot, és hazánkat a keresztény Európa részévé tette. A hétvégén Ferenc pápát láttuk vendégül, hitünk erejét láthatta a világ. Ahogy Ferenc pápa mondta vasárnapi szentmiséjén, a következő nemzedékeknek a remény jövőjét nyújtsuk, ne a háborút, egy bölcsökkel és nem sírokkal teli jövőt. Ebben van lehetőségünk és felelősségünk nekünk keresztény, konzervatív politikusoknak, gondolkodóknak, véleményformálóknak. Kulcsidőben, ideológiai párharcok időszakában élünk. Megkérdőjelezik alapértékeinket, a biztosnak hitt kapaszkodóinkat. A hagyományos keresztény értékek melletti kiállás valóságos megbélyegzést von ma maga után. Mesterségesen kreált ideológiákat próbálnak ránk erőltetni. Mi magyarok viszont szeretnénk Európát megőrizni olyannak, ahogy azt örökül kaptuk. Az illegális bevándorlás helyett családpolitikát, genderideológia helyett gyermekeink védelme, föderalizmus és központosító törekvések helyett pedig szuverenitásunk és nemzeti önrendelkezésünk védelme azok a szilárd tartóoszlopok, amelyekre Európa jövőjét szeretnénk építeni. Mi itt még hiszünk a vélemény pluralizmusában, a szabadságban, akkor is, ha ma populizmusnak számít a demokrácia nevében nyilatkozni, a szólásszabadságot a politikai korrektség nevében pedig igyekeznek korlátozni. A sajtószabadságot pedig a fake newsra való hivatkozással próbálják letörni. Ezért zajlik évek óta politikai baszarkányüldözés Magyarország ellen. Jobboldali konzervatív kormányunk tavaly egymás után negyedszerre kapott kétharmados bizalmat. A magyar kormány példátlan politikai sikereinek oka, hogy nem csak beszéltünk arról, hogy erősebben fogunk kijönni az utóbbi évek válságaiból, de be is bizonyítottuk. Migrációs válság, koronavírus járvány, most pedig itt ez a szörnyű háború, amely kapcsán azért támadnak bennünket, mert a béke pártján állunk. Mi úgy véljük, hogy egyedül a béke jelenthet tartós megoldást. A magyar álláspont már a háború kezdetétől egyértelmű. Elítéljük Oroszország katonai agresszióját Ukrajnával szemben, amely nem csak a nemzetközi jog alapján jelent súlyos sérelmet, hanem morális szempontból is igazolhatatlan. Erőn felül segítjük Ukrajnát és az onnan érkező menekülőket. Magyarország számára a nemzeti identitás és szuverenitás mindig is a legvédendőbb értékek között maradnak. Tisztelt konzervatív barátaim! Nemzeteink elsősége a konzervatív reneszánsz fontos építőeleme. Vissza kell szereznünk a kezdeményezést a globalista erőktől, akik erőszakos ideológiákkal akarnak egyformává tenni és megosztani, eltörölve Istent, hazát és családot, mint értéket. Regenerációra, újjászületésre van szükségünk. Meg kell erősítenünk közös értékeinket, amelyek hosszú évszázadok küzdelmeinek eredményei. Nem adhatjuk fel a mi Európánkat. 4 gyermekes családanyaként hiszek az erős család erejében, és csak erős családok alkothatnak erős nemzetet, és az erős nemzetek tehetik erőssé Európát. Kedves barátaink tengeren, innen és túl! A hagyományos értékeket képviselni ma Európában nem egy egyszerű feladat. Ezt európai parlamenti képviselőként testközelből tapasztalom. De hogy ezt a mai esemény is mutatja, hál' Istennek akadnak bőven szövetségesek, akik ezt hasonlóan küldetésüknek tekintik, úgy Európában, mint szerte a világban. Meggyőződésem, hogy a konzervatív reneszánsz érdekében az európai jobboldali pártoknak szorosan kéz a kézben kell együttműködniük egymással, és a konzervatív világ tagjaival, gondolkodókkal, filozófusokkal, újságírókkal. Örömmel kötünk szövetségeket közös értékeink mentén. 2024-ben Sorsdöntő európai parlamenti választás következik, és Amerikában is választási év lesz, amelyen a konzervatív erők összefogására és megerősödésére számítok. A CPAC Hungary fontos állomás ebben a küzdelemben. Ezért köszönöm, hogy itt vannak. És most folytatom angolul. Dear guests, Hungary is a nation of freedom fighters. Throughout our history, we always cherished and fought for freedom and values. Let me welcome now a few other fighters, friends, and allies from around Europe, fellow members of the European Parliament, who stand for our values, and we have joint and common fight. Let me invite on the stage Rob Roos from GA21 in the Netherlands, Vice Chair of the ECR Group. Welcome, Rob. Herman Tertsch from Spanish Vox Party, Vice Chair of the ECR Group in the European Parliament. And Anders Vistisen from Danske Folkeparti, Denmark. Welcome. Please. Dear colleagues, dear friends, I have plenty of questions to be asked, but at the end our time is very short, and there are strict rules which apply here. So my question basically is, what about the future of our Europe? What topics do you think will dominate the political campaign ahead the next year's EP elections at EU level, but certainly in your respective member state? Please, Rob.
Well, thank you very much, and also thank you for having me here. It's always an honor to be in Hungary, a country that is fight for its sovereignty, and it's so important, and I think a lot of member states should take an example of that. So I'm happy to be here, and yes, we have elections next year. What we see now is high energy prices. I think that will dominate our next elections in the Netherlands, but also, of course, illegal immigration, which is a huge topic. And there is something else that's coming up, and that's very worrying, and that is a new European law, and that is the nature recovery law. It sounds very good, but it's also very devastating for our economies. What we see is, well, I'm a businessman, and it's not the best companies that will survive. It's the company that will adopt the changing circumstances at best. And what we see in 2022, before the pandemic, the European Commission came up with a radical agenda about the Green Deal, also the Migration Pact, and also the Digital Act. But let's talk about the first two. The Green Deal, that has really a huge impact on people's lives. It's on social, in social ways, but also the price of energy, because Putin is the one, they give them the blame of our high energy prices, but in fact it's the green policy, the climate policy that's created this problem. We reduced our reliable energy sources too fast, gas, but we have seen Germany with their 17 nuclear plants. They closed it. They spent 650 billion euros to invest in renewables. They haven't achieved anything on reducing CO2, but they are polluting our air. It's also our air, not only in Germany. But especially the Green Deal, the Farm to Fork strategy, the climate law, etc. It has such a huge impact on people's lives. It's taking away the freedom, and this is not about clean energy, because if we are burning complete forests to save the planet, that's really insane. That's what they do with biomass. And also, if we want to have clean and reliable energy, we have to go to nuclear. They don't want it because the Green Deal is really something that is a huge impact on people's life, because Brussels is controlling everything. It's a centralization of power. It's controlling people's lives. If you want to control people's lives, you have to control CO2, because everything we do in life leads to CO2 emissions. Living, traveling, eating, breathing, everything. So it's not helping the people, and that is really worrying me. Also, immigration, that is a huge topic everywhere. I come from the Netherlands. We cannot handle the amount of immigrants anymore. It's really too much. We don't have houses for our children. We don't have houses for these people. The complete system is collapsing. Also, it's very difficult for our healthcare system, for our education system, and it's not the way Europe should be run. And then the last point, the climate restoration law, that's something new that's coming up. In the Netherlands, we have already a huge problem with our farmers because our government wants to have a reduction of 50% of the CADO, and that means that 3,000 farmers have to be removed or be deleted, and also they will pay them out. The Commission gave the approval 2 days ago that our government can do that. But the Netherlands is one of the biggest. And how much time do I have?
You're running out. Okay, please try to finish.
I finish it. But it's really insane. If we have to feed 8 billion people on this planet, and now we see that in the Netherlands that they are phasing out our farmers, but they will do that everywhere in Europe. So there are a lot of things to worry about, and a lot of things we have to fight together with. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rob, and thank you for the understanding for the short time. Thank you. Herman, you will face 2 elections this year before the 2024 European Parliamentary elections. So how do you see our future in Europe and the next elections?
We have now a year full of elections, because we are going to a very important elections together, all of us, in May 2024, where we have to change this situation we have. In this moment, and I thank you for having me here, and I thank you for the success of this CPAC, even having this boycott of the European Parliament that we have. I mean, it's very curious to see the different treatments that we get from the European Union in general. We are seeing how the money, absolutely legal, and money which is from Hungary is being blocked from the funds from Hungary. But we are seeing how Ursula von der Leyen is financing massively with European funds the Spanish socialist communist government for buying votes in this moment. Nobody knows where the money ends. Well, we guess, we have a guess. He's buying systematic votes with the European money. And we have now cases of malversation of money which goes in really the wrong hands in Spain. But Mr. Sanchez, who is the Prime Minister, has abolished this crime in our penal code. So we have no malversion, so that they can't accuse themselves of making this malversion. That's the first point that I wanted to stress, this kind of absolutely, this unjustified kind of selection inside the European Union, which makes the European Union perverted in itself. Then we were talking, Rob Roche was talking about the Green Deal. The Green Deal is only one of the instruments to destroy the nations. It's a huge, huge, almost Leninist plan to come, but not quinquennial, not for 5 years, but for 50 or for 100 years, where they want to go really into interference in all the spheres of life of the society, of the economy, of the private man, of the family, of the education. Everything is affected by these plans of social engineering that we are seeing is coming up. And we have to defend ourselves, because they try to destroy the nations through this immigration. They try to destroy the nations by impoverishing. They are definitely having a program to impoverish countries like mine, like yours, like many, many countries, and most countries, because they want to destroy the nations themselves. So we have to make together, we need a critical mass for moving against these plans that are in Europe and that are masterminded by the whole European Union today, and by this progressive majority, which has one of the elements which worries for us most. That is, these parties that since half a century, half a century, I would say, collect conservative votes for then producing progressive policies. That is one of the greatest cheating in Europe that has been going on completely, and that has completed this kind of global coalition of the progressives under the umbrella of a grosse or the mega grosse coalition, which works always with these progressive objectives. We have to show this cheating, permanent falsehood of these parties, and we have to fight against them and get ourselves this mass for blocking. In 2024, we have to be strong enough, all of us, to reverse this suicidal policy we are having now here in Europe. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Herman. Thank you. Anders, how do you see this from Denmark? What do you think will dominate the political campaign ahead of the next year's EP elections? And how do you see the period leading to the election?
I think to understand the European Union, you need to go back to the basis. It's a Babel's Tower of a Brussels elite that believes in the eradication of the national state. They don't believe that Europe should be 27 national states with their own cultural identities, with their religious identities, with their homogeneous societies. They believe we should be one multicultural society mirrored on the Americas. And all of these bad examples of Brussels politics that my colleagues have mentioned, I think stem from that very problem, that Brussels wants to eradicate the national states. And I think the most dangerous and the most present problem of that is migration. Because what we have seen is that Brussels is pushing migration all over Europe. They want us to be disunited in our member states. They want us to be multicultural instead of preserving national identities. And every time a country tries to kick back on that agenda, for instance, when Hungary closed its borders during the migration crisis, or when Denmark is trying to preserve our right to define who can enter into Denmark legally and who will be rejected at the border, we see interference from Brussels, because they know, look at Brussels as an example in itself, a multicultural city that doesn't work. I think everyone who have been there, who have lived there, who have been exposed to it can see how awful the consequences of this ancient Flemish medieval city have been. And that's what they want to do to all of Europe. And I think the next election is going to be defined on the question of migration. We are now seeing hundreds of thousands coming again. Another record year from the 2015 migration crisis is coming up. And we are seeing Brussels failing. We are seeing that even rejected asylum applicants, and far too many get asylum already in Europe, far too many people who should never have been in Europe gets asylum, but even the few that are rejected still have a larger chance to stay in the European Union than being sent back to the country of origin. That is not a policy of a union that wants to defend itself and wants to defend the member states. That's the policy of a self-eradicating Brussels elite that wants to get rid of national states and national identities.
Thank you, Anders. Well, Listening to you, I do believe that we conservatives, right-wing parties, become game changers in 2024 and after the EP elections. What do you think? Can the conservative right-wing political parties together become winners in 2024? Can we really become game changers? That's what we have to pursue. So, Rob.
Well, first of all, the European Union was founded to make the lives of the people in the European Union better. And what we see now is that they're controlling the people, and that's the opposite. And yeah, we really have to join forces. I always say if you can agree on 80%, then there is a basis to work together. Of course, there will always be topics that you disagree on, but let's go for the big topics: sovereignty, family values, payable and reliable energy. Things are so important, and we are at the same page here in CPAC, but also with the political parties in Brussels. So it is possible, and I think we should overcome the minority issues that we cannot agree on. We have to find common ground, because it's 1 minute before 12. They are moving very fast. It's a huge machine. The European Commission is a very big machine that's moving forward. But there is also hope. Besides that, we have to work together in the elections of 2024. I really do believe that. We have now, what we see now in the Council, Hungary, Poland, Czech Republic, Italy, Sweden, and now also Finland is making a conservative government, and hopefully also France very soon, and the Netherlands. So we can have a blocking minority in the Council, and that is really the way to stop this huge machine that's called the European Commission. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you, Rob. Thank you.
I think they are the values where we have to stick together, which is the nations, the sovereignty, the integrity of the nations, and freedom, family, liberty for the education. We need an education. I mean, we need to recover education, and we need to recover many things that conservatives have left and had been kidnapped by the left in the last, as I say, in the passive way of conceding that we had in all this betrayal of so many parties, of so many so-called conservative parties in the last 50 years. So we have been conceding without seeing or without knowing that we were doing it. Now we have, and I'm very happy that Prime Minister Orban spoke and said the word that we repeat continuously in Vox in Spain, which is reconquista. Reconquista is a Spanish word which means we are going to reconquer, and we are 800 years reconquering our homeland that had been betrayed by El Conde Don Julián and by a traitor, by a group of traitors that betrayed the Visigoths, the kingdom, and so came the invasion, the Muslim invasion into Spain, 711, till 1492. That is the Reconquista. We have not so much time, but we are now moving on. For the first time in these last 10 years, there are things happening, not only in Hungary, all over Europe. And that's why they are so nervous. That's why they are in a hurry with the conference of the future of Europe and all the things where they spend money and bring nothing else than trying to make us a kind of Sovietized and socialist imposition all over the places to dissolve the nation. They are nervous. That means we are moving in the right direction. Thank you.
That's it. That's true. Thank you, Herman. Anders.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's not much disagreement in this panel about the right direction for Europe. I would just have a call that we can unify behind what the values we share, like the pro-federalists are doing. Because right now, the only people winning, if we are not united, are the wrong ideas. It's the wokeness, it's the multiculturalism, it's the liberalism. And when I see in the parliament that we share all of these values, we share all of these ideals for the common Europe, I think the important thing is that we don't let the federalists divide us up. I've heard the most awful things about my colleagues before I came to the European Union. You know, Hungary was almost uninhabitable if you look in the Danish media. And, you know, you could find examples of what they're writing about all of the real conservative powers in Europe, because they're so afraid of us. And I think to a certain degree up to this point, we have had this mainstream media define the way we work together, the way we talk about each other. But when we get together like this great event and good initiative from the CPAC Hungary people here, we see that what unites us is far larger than what divides us. And I think that's the...
Let's reconquer together. Let's become a game changer in 2024. And thank you for being here present in Budapest. And with these thoughts, I wish you great food for thoughts for this afternoon and for tomorrow, and memorable stay in our beautiful capital. Thank you for your presence in this panel. Thank you.